To just understand what happened on Raw, at least I guess it was better than the previous 2 weeks. The most coming out of my positive criticism was they didn't have Charlotte, Nikki ass cheeks, you know, main event again for this third week in a row. At least there were some big changes. Orton came back after a 7 week hiatus, and out of like no contest, like I thought Riddle was foreshadowing that he was dead, or he was just using Orton to get further upon the card. Like the consensual story is that, okay, bro, hey Randy, remember when we tagged together, Randy? Randy, he's acting like a autistic teenage friend that's feeling like he's hard to fit in. Like you're making Riddle downgrade his intelligence from uh like a laid back surfer pothead idiot into just some kind of child. And I don't know if that was a playful RKO. Riddle was smiling over all that like he just his pants after that. Like, bro, that's kind of stupid. It's good to see Orton back, but it's just offsetting. I don't like this direction that they're trying to force over Riddle over the top of the card like this. Like it's completely stupid. Another thing happened. It looks like Elias is abandoning his Drifter character. That I think is a step in the right direction, even though I hate it because this Drifter character could have been done a lot better if now there's now two brown hair guitarists on both shows, and that's Rick Boogs on SmackDown, Elias is on Raw. But Rick Boogs is getting over. Elias actually has some positives about him because he had that fan control. He has good charisma. He actually knows how to make the fans get a negative positive feeling, and his songs get over. So it's sad they couldn't capitalize that to an IC or United States Championship run for a small amount to get some of the other guys over. There was a lot of decent stock, and I bet if this was on more competent writers that could actually make a good TV show, then Elias would be one of a major, like a priority to make sure we need a reason why fans need to come up to the show, not just to see our wrestling matches, to see our characters. So Elias was actually a positive I had about WWE, and now they're trying to reinvent him. That I think is a step in the right direction because he's been a jobber. But come on, that was practically how they had it. So they have Orton come back, Riddle come over to celebrate. Bro, come on, bro, we can't even be tag team. Can't even be RK Bro anymore. And the fans were just like, "Why do you like this thing? I don't get it. It's so weird." Riddle's acting like a retard friend, and it looks odd. Like Randy, remember when you saw me clear out my nose when I was picking a booger? Riddle, get away from me. Randy, remember when I allegedly sexually assaulted that woman? Riddle, that was real. You're still on trial. Damn it! Shocked everybody's like, oh, WWE's policing. WWE is letting a guy with multiple DUIs still be in a major storyline, and Riddle that has history with allegedly, you know, in some kind of affairs with another woman, uh, still on TV in a major storyline with Orton. That was practically it. After AJ came over, mocking over a Styles and calling him an asshole, they have the main event of Raw for some apparent reason. The guys that were the mid card of WrestleMania 35, where it had 25 matches, main event for some apparent reason. It's like Lashley can't wrestle anyone else on the card. Corbin came over on SmackDown because he's poor. I'm not even trying to make a poor person joke. Like legitimately, that's it. He they were having a commercial break war feud for a character that literally nobody can take seriously, doing deep sixes. Then McIntyre literally on the microphone. Usually you do that whenever like it's a comeuppance or something. No, it's just because Corbin was poor. He asked for $100,000. He played around with the numbers until he went to the countdown. And a Claymore kick. He grabbed the sword and threatened. Why is he still threatening Jinder even though he beats up most of his guys? Jinder's no semblance of a threat. He comes over still making this promo like Jinder's the scum of the earth. I don't mind that trying to get himself over, but it's just Jinder's already not even a worthwhile opponent. Even his bodyguards are not that competent. Why are you still not focusing on getting back to the world title or threatening the authority figures with a sword? I'm sure that would be more interesting than you squashing out a WWE champion that used to be part of 3MB, and he's still not even the caliber of being in the main event scene, or else we have more people facing Lashley. Then we had Carry and Cross and 50-50 booking because we don't want the fat nerds to get upset that a person can consistently lose when you hold the developmental championship. And I don't mind the promo that was in the entrance of Carry and Cross and just slightly twist of fate. I sound like I'm gonna say I'm gonna skull F you. TikTok. Like that's what he sounds like. He sounds like he's saying naughty things behind your ear aggressively, and certain women are gonna like that. That's why Scarlett's still with him. Hot woman like that needs some excitement, and he wins off a sleeper, off a cross jacket. Yeah, it's called the cross jacket. It's a sleeper hold submission. There was a cool little running out the steps, poetry in motion. Twist of fate got reversed, so it was a splat. Decent match, and here's the thing. This is the perfect time to make a storyline involved in the main event scene involving Jeff Hardy. After Lashley's done with Goldberg, probably Lashley's gonna win. Push over Jeff Hardy. Make sure there's guys in the main event scene that creep over because they're not advertising. Oh, there's gonna be a future contender or a former world champion trying to redeem himself back into the spotlight. WWE does not advertise guys going up the I forgot the word, but still, it's an E word. Other than that, it's just they don't want to tease over that there's a contendership line for belts. Like, oh, you're a mid Carter? He's a mid Carter. Why you want to fight? Because I think he's a jerk. Then they're feuding for his United States Championship. And now the U.S. title is put like less into the light because you make it feel like there's not any qualifications or like even a line for people to go through to get a championship match. Same thing with the WWE Championship. Why does Goldberg just automatically get a shot? I know he's a draw, but still, it's just like showing off. Like, how come nobody's running in? How come nobody else is qualifying their way for the belt? How come Jinder Mahal, a former champion, isn't? Jeff Hardy isn't, even though he has more qualifications, more achievements, and a tenure, and he's still over with the fans. Don't get why they're not making sure there's a line to be brought if somebody else gets a title shot. Plus, it would be good if Lashley even faced these guys on Raw, because that's showing more dominance from him. Sure, some of these guys are not doing, like, the best to get themselves over. I understand that. But, like, there's ways you can. Then we had Alexa Bliss face off against Doudrop, and technically even Marie loses. Off a roll-up. Match sucks. Storyline sucks. Over, like, a heel trying to get over a heel. There was a drop kick, like somehow Doudrop forgets that this woman is under 100 pounds and just continues to get like splashed, speared, cross-bodied, and then she gets over by a roll-up. Don't really care about this Lolita phase. Literally, Bray's released, so how come she can't just go back to being her regular character? I don't get it. The moment of bliss thing is okay. I don't mind Alexa Bliss, the character. It's perfectly alright of a heel character. I don't get it. I'd rather have her pretend that she broke her arm doing like you don't remember back in 2019 with all those like those Moment of Bliss promos. She kept trying to tease or trying to like sexually compliment the freaking like trying to get into EC3's bank account, talking about the abs of Finn Balor. And I like that. That's actually pretty entertaining. Like trying to flirt with your guests, especially the male guests, while trying to get into the heads of a female guest. That's perfectly fine. And she had charisma for it. And she has a good looking face for a camera. I don't get why they're not utilizing the Moment of Bliss thing more often than they are with the frickin' Lolita the Fiend with the crappy sex doll feud with Dewdrop and Eva Marie. It sucks. Then we have, of course, Sheamus, and he was talking to Miz Morrison backstage, and it's just, oh my god, it sucks. God, it sucks. Their backstage segment sucks. It's like, don't let me squirt on you. Let me lift up my leg real quick. Morrison, relax. Only I squirt. Because the Miz sounds like a young version of Johnny Ace, and like devoid of nothing entertaining. So the match was fine. Sheamus used the mask after a top rope move over Ricochet, got evaded by the mask, and he hits a bro kick. It was a pretty alright back and forth. That was about it. I hated how Sheamus said "me gold" like he's trying to be a 1940s freaking Irish jackass. Then we had Damian Priest against John Morrison immediately after Sheamus tried to blindside him. Then he just walked away, and then literally Damian Priest sounds like Roman Reigns. I'll take this back from the Swerve show when I was defending Damian Priest and he was like at least Corbin can like try to transition his character. At least Corbin tries, even though he sucks. He like I can actually understand what character he's trying to portray. Damian Priest is Hispanic Roman Reigns with backflips, trying to speak over Spanish with your stupid dreadlocks, looking like if oh my god, he looks like Mordecai if he tried to go to a bodega where there's a rave in the inside of the place. Like he sucks, bro. There was a heel kick. Miz fit Miz tried to distract him, giving him that pool toy, and then he hits the reckoning. That's just a ripoff. Crossroads. Priest comes, still talking trash. Sheamus calls him over and says that he accepts giving him a United States title opportunity, and Morrison was just there to be a jobber. Then we had T-Bar against Mustafa Ali. This is just match after match after match. Nothing feels like it's overarching on Raw. T-Bar against Mustafa Ali. A discus kick, a hit over to the outside, that stupid tornado DDT that never gets the finish, and a feast for your eyes. Seriously, that's the move. Why do these guys keep getting TV time when it's shown even if Mustafa and Mansoor wrestles that they get the lowest ratings on the show? These guys are just ill of any charisma. I'd rather have the Bollywood boys back then, because at least they have an entertaining gimmick. Like they're supposed to be some Bollywood Hindi young bucks with actual entertainment factor, and I'd rather have that than what else is going on Raw than these two jobbers wrestling each other. And Jinder Mahal doesn't give himself anything because he just acts like a complete weakling. Then we had Lashley MVP delivering a message over to Goldberg, warning his son that you're gonna witness the biggest beating you're ever gonna see in your life involving Goldberg. He's gonna lose, yada yada yada. It was an alright promo. Goldberg didn't come over. MVP did a decent job hyping over. I don't think it was better than what he said over on TNA, but that's about it. Just generic average. I'm gonna beat you up. gonna make it personal. You're not going to win in SummerSlam until you retire. Then we had Nikki Ash Cheeks against Rhea Ripley. Rhea had the most generic fucking promo I've ever seen in my life. It's like I didn't see the darkness on Nikki Ash because I thought he was supposed to have a dark side. And she's about to notice that firsthand when her dream becomes a nightmare. Like, so Rhea Ripley is so dull. Broad shoulders, you have a short cut, you look like a dyke even though you have a boyfriend. You you just she can't act. She can't portray any emotion over trying to sound like some kind of rock star badass. And she just devoids herself of showing no semblance of emotion. No, no. And that would be okay if she was being a goth or had a way of speaking. Rhea Ripley is just so dull. And the match happened, where it was just an average match. Nikki Ash Cheeks made her stupid little Make-A-Wish promo. Then they wrestled. Why are they wrestling even though they already have a match? So why they always got to have an interaction? And they're not even unique interactions. It's just, oh, you guys are feuding. That means one half of you got to wrestle each other. The other half of you got to wrestle each other until the other half of you wrestle each other in a tag team match. That's how you form. That's how WWE always formats their dumb multi-man matches whenever they're feuding. And it makes no sense. So why? So they were going for a top rope maneuver. Nikki Ash was on the top. Charlotte came, uh, just pushing her off, ending it over into DQ. Big booting both women, and Charlotte was like, "Oh, if they were in that level, they would have noticed my attack." And that's where you gotta pick your fights. And oh God, shut up! I'm not interested in seeing three dull men wrestle. It's just no. Come on, bro. Oh no, he has me saying it now. But just noticing, like, none of these matches, I mean, sure, there was a few good ones, but just noticing that, like, the bare minimum is getting me excited for SummerSlam, even though WWE Raw is with the higher time slot. They're trying to be a kid show while SmackDown's trying to be more overarchingly adult. That's a weird mix-up for something that's on Monday nights. Well, like, no type of children are watching it unless they're in terminal illness. Because that would be the last thing they want to see. Superhero crappy Nikki Cross, two Hindi jobbers that can't talk or give a convincing match. Damian Priest has as much frickin' she has as much pull he has as much charisma as my like to dislike ratio right now. Just knowing that none of these guys are devoid are making you excited to go over the show. They need big draws. They need big draws. Why do you think they need to release most of these people now? And making it 2 hours is going to make it more sufficiently worse. Because they can't format their show well. It's just match, promo, match, promo, match. It's not even an entertaining segment how they do it. Then we had Orton versus Styles. That was a 10-minute average main event. Pretty good match, but it's like I have seen this type of match before. Counter, dropkick, combo, twisting neckbreaker, elevated DDT. A counter off the RKO before. It ends with Riddle saving Orton with Omos, and then Orton hits a mid-air RKO out of nowhere, even though everybody saw it coming. And then because the commentary is so devoid of showing any interest to make sure fans are not interested in seeing the rest of the match, they'll like say the same plug words. They just sound so goddamn bland. And just noticing that these guys sound like they're talking about a baseball game. Baseball commentators can be good to fucking boring in an instant. You can tell. Jimmy Smith sucks. Corey Graves sucks. Byron Saxton, I'd rather have Mauro Ranallo back. Like, at least Mauro Ranallo has some semblance of enthusiasm whenever talking about a match. He'll go over the move. He'll try to make some kind of plug-in joke to at least make something about the match feel enticing. and he actually shows some like energy. There's energy whenever a commentator talks. Whenever after you finish hearing across the nation or whatever Attitude Era theme song was back in the late '90s to early 2000s, it was like, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw. How you doing? I'm Jim Ross, and this is Jerry the King Lawler. We are live." Like they actually make you feel like you're watching an excited live primetime show. You're not hearing that whenever you hear the commentary. They're after watching fake ass wrestling, they're gonna be talking a Tiger Woods golf game later. Fucking boring. These guys make sure that pro wrestling has as much estrogen as the indies already did. Just screw this episode. And just knowing, like, you guys actually have some dimensions of talent that could actually be used to make the show be more excited. You still add Nikki Cross getting more airtime, Rhea Ripley getting more airtime, like Sheamus, Miz, and Morrison still, even though these guys do nothing to make sure that your show is more exciting. Why after if Bray got released? Why in the I heard that's probably false that he got released anyway, but why in the hell does Charlotte? Why does Alexa still need an excuse to give over this gimmick for a feud that's obviously going to be 50-50? It's just boring. It's just a dull show. I'm shocked how you can go over a show that revolves around fighting and different characters and you make it feel like a chore. Why does Raw feel like that all the fucking time? It's impossible. You can't make a show that revolves around fighting boring. That's literally impossible. Ugh. Like the worst thing is, well, was like the whole parkour crap. Okay, that was pretty impressive from Reginald. That was pretty impressive. He won anyway. Did some offensive flips into moves, even though we're still wearing the suit. So he's swagging on the two jobbers still feuding for a 24/7 belt. That's been more irrelevant because that's the only way the belt can actually get some screen time. The rest of the jobbers that were chasing it from before are now released. Seriously, I didn't even see Drew Gulak, Angel Garza, the Lucha House Party, and all the other 100 guys that they signed that they're firing now. So yeah, that's practically all I got to say about that. Thanks for watching. Raw's like a waste of time.